what is going on? Of course, to all of my paranormal romance connoisseurs out there, I am, of course, Nostalgia Allure, and I welcome you to Book Shade. So, for today's episode, guys, I decided to do an introduction to Book Shade, so that way you know what you are getting into when you watch this program, okay? I am very uncensored. I am very outspoken. I have very strong opinions in regards to how I feel about paranormal romance, how I feel about paranormal webcomics and things like that. So, to put a disclaimer, viewer discretion is advised. And hey, what's going on, Mitch? Thank you so much for following, much appreciated. And Mitch says hi, welcome to the program. And so like I said before, if you are a sensitive person, this is not gonna be the show for you. No, I'm being extra. So for today's episode, guys, we're gonna just do, oh hey, what's up? We got Daily, what is up? Thank you so much for the follow. Okay, so and Mitch says that they are from Australia, and we got Deeper. Ooh, hey, welcome to the program, much appreciated. Thank you very much. So yeah, we're gonna just start it off, guys, with what is called the BookTube, and it's called the, oh, thanks, oh, cute, hey, thank you so much for the follow, I appreciate it. So we have the BookTube Newbie tag. So this is my introduction to BookTube and what we're gonna be doing here on the program. So let's start it off with, why did you start this program or channel? So guys, there's a couple of reasons why I decided to start this program, Book Shade, and it's mainly because I feel that there are stigmas when it comes to the romance book genre, and specifically paranormal romance and multiracial or interracial romance, as well as LGBTQIA plus romance. And those are going to be like the main types of books that we're going to be kind of focusing on and following. So for me, I've always had this passion for reading. I've been reading for a long time, darling, okay? And I just felt like, for some reason, and this is just me, I'm not into YA, okay? So for those of you who are not familiar with the terminology, YA stands for young adult. So this is stuff like, you know, Twilight and that kind of thing. So that's the name of the book genre. I just was not into that. And for me, I like something very hot and steamy, and yes, okay? I like me a good romance, and specifically for me, I'm really into like older men and those type of romances, and I just enjoy that, but I couldn't get into YA. It was not my thing. So I was like, you know what, let me make a show for adults that focuses specifically on paranormal romance and paranormal romance like webcomics, because I really like webcomics too, and there's a lot of really good ones out there, but you just don't hear much about it. And then, even though we'll still talk about more, you know, traditional books, I also wanted to make sure to focus this program on covering specifically ebooks, because ebooks and they call it independent, like the independent author as well, because that's been emerging in the last couple of years. But I think a lot of times when people hear ebook, especially a romantic ebook, they like want to cancel it because it's not like the mainstream kind of thing. So I wanted to kind of represent that as well. So I do have my book collection, which I'll be showing you guys in the future. It's just that it's a hot damn mess, okay? So that has to be the reason why I started this program or this channel, is because I wanted a place for, you know, adults that liked paranormal romance, and you know, when you come to my program, you're not gonna feel, you know, ostracized because of liking romance, because once again, there is a stigma, a very, very heavy stigma against people who read in the romance genre. I don't know why, but there's a lot of good stuff out there, okay? So that's what we're going to be focusing on. Hopefully, the other component too that I would like to do in the future too is to talk about like different genres within the romance genre, like the different subgenres and stuff, and to just give a better overall look and hopefully help reduce the stigmas of reading romance. Because romance, guys, the romance genre is not only for women. They do make books too for men as well, and that's something I would like to talk about and focus on in the future. All right, so the second question is, what are some fun and unique things you bring to BookTube? Well, let me tell you, I am very raunchy, okay? Yes, okay, I bring this awesome fan here. No. I think it's my really campy, over the top, like, sense of humor. I love, like, I'm the type of person, guys, I'm into the Addams Family. I love RuPaul's Drag Race. So I have this really loud, over the top, unfiltered personality. So I think I am bringing something different. It's not that there are not really like campy and, you know, really big personality people on BookTube. There are plenty, but I think I bring something a little bit different in regards to the stuff that I like to read. And the interracial, multicultural romance genre, and I also like new adult as well. So new adult is more focused on romance stories that focus around like college life and stuff like that. It's primarily focused for people who are between the age ranges of 18 to 30. So I really, for some reason, those books too really resonate with me. So I think that's what I'm going to bring, is I'm going to bring things, guys, that are going to be completely different stuff that maybe you've never seen done on BookTube. So we'll see what I bring. I'm going to bring it, okay? No. All right, so next question. What are you most excited about this new channel? So for me, what I'm excited about, guys, is all of my episodes are going to be live, okay? I wanted to do something different. There's nothing wrong with pre-recorded, because sometimes I may have to do that, but I'm updating the show, guys, twice a week. It's going to be on Fridays and Saturdays, okay? And then later on, I'm going to break down some more of the show's content, so you're just kind of aware of how things are going to go on here. But yeah, I decided that I wanted to do all of my episodes live because I just love answering questions and having that type of interaction. And I just wanted to do something different, you know, but that's just me. Okay. So then next question is, why do you love reading? Okay, guys, for me, for more than half of my life, I've always been seen as like ugly and a loser and weird and all this mess. And guys, when I would read, it allowed me to just escape away from the teasing, escape away from, you know, feeling negative about myself and all that kind of stuff. And reading, guys, I love the stories. They can be very captivating and it's so refreshing. Maybe that's why I love the romance genre specifically, because there's nothing like, you know, reading about how two people, you know, at first they may not know each other, or maybe they do, and how they just fall in love with each other. And especially when the story is really, really well done and it's this very organic, kind of natural, like love progression. Oh my gosh, I love that, as my lashes are like sticking together. Whoa. But I just love that natural progression. You know what I mean? It just feels so organic. And I mean, that's why I love reading, guys, because there's just so much versatility. And you know what I love about BookTube, even though I'm new to it? I just love that, like, it just brings, it brings people together, and there's this beautiful harmony that you see on BookTube. Yeah, sometimes maybe not, because I won't lie, I do enjoy reading on the BookTube drama. I love those BookTube drama debates and all that, because you get to learn about all the different perspectives that readers have, and I fucking love that. So we'll talk about BookTube drama when it comes up, and things like that. But yeah, that's why I would say why I love reading. It's just, it allows me to have this more this more relaxation. I don't have to think about life and all that shit. I can just have a moment to just read and enjoy the experience of reading. So that's probably why. Okay, so then next we have, what book or series got you into reading? And I'm sure you guys will not be surprised. Okay, I go hard for Anne Rice. Okay, I am an Anne Rice stan, bitch. Okay, so the series that really got me, guys, like super passionate about reading, and I have it right here. This is part of a book series that Anne Rice did. It's called The Vampire Chronicles. And guys, the first book that I ever seriously read was Interview with the Vampire. It was just so captivating to me, guys. Just the concept. Okay, can you imagine being a journalist, right? And sitting down and talking to a vampire about their experiences and what they've gone through and all that shit. I mean, it just blew my motherfucking mind. I read that book in a day, and then after that, I was like Claudia. I was like, I want more, And I just went from Interview with the Vampire, then I read The Vampire Lestat, then I got deeper into the history with books like Queen of the Damned and Tale of the Body Thief. I went one after the next, and then after that, that's what also, guys, really got me into the horror and the romance genre too, because let me tell you guys, The Vampire Chronicles, very sexy read, okay, in certain parts, okay, but oh man, I just enjoy, and I've always been that kind of person that I've always enjoyed horror and like, gothic romance, and maybe that's why I have this thing for, I just love like vampire literature too, but I also like shows like True Blood and like Vampire Diaries. I just started watching recently, and it's alright. It's okay. Like, you gotta get past the first season for it to really start picking up, and you're like, yes. But yeah, I would say that was the main series, was the Vampire Chronicles. And then after I finished reading all of those, and there were some that were kind of dry, but like, it is a fantastic series. I highly recommend it. You do have to have patience with it though, because as you can see, this book is this is one of the smaller books in the series, but once you get into like, Queen of the Damned and like the new Lestat book that just came out not too long ago, oh my gosh, those are thick reads, okay? But I just love Anne Rice as an author. She is just, the amount of detail that she put into the lore, amazing. Speechless. I'm speechless. I got my tea here. I'll drink tea once in a while. Because unfortunately, guys, I get dry throat really quickly, so you'll see me drink something, from time to time here. Okay, so moving on. Okay, what questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? Oh my gosh, there are so many. I can't even name all of them, guys, but you know what some of the main questions I would ask? I would probably ask, like, how do you maintain your success? Because one thing that and this is just an observation, just from my experience, checking out BookTube and everything, is I noticed that when it comes to people of color booktubers, there's not a lot of them that are like really, really successful up to the level like the white booktubers are. So like that would be the question for me, is like, how do you, as a person of color, or just even if you're not a person of color, how do you kind of maintain that continuity and authenticity and success on BookTube, you know? And like, how do you, you know, keep up with the reading? Because some people, guys, they're reading like 30 books in one day, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, that's amazing. But for me, I'm one of these people that I actually like to, if I can, if possible, I actually will turn on an audiobook version and also simultaneously read it, because for me, I'm just one of those people that I like to have a voice with the words and everything, and then it makes it a much more pleasant experience for me. I mean, I can still read it and, you know, visualize and have a good damn time, but it's something about an audiobook that just even makes the experience while I'm actually reading it, you know, simultaneously, so captivating. I fucking love it. It's so good. But yeah, I have many favorite booktubers. I'll have to talk about them individually in the future, but those would be some of the questions. I think I kind of changed it a little bit. But yeah, those would be some of the questions that I would ask. Like, how do you, you know, grow your success and maintain your success? And then specifically for my favorite people of color booktubers, like, how do you even get success? Because it seems like people are not really checking for people of color who are booktubers, though. And even within the romance genre, for booktubers, there's not much diversity. Maybe in the future, as BookTube continues to grow and get bigger and better and everything, maybe that might change, but there's only like a few minorities, and that's sad, unfortunately. All right, so moving on. So we have, what challenges do you think, what challenges do you think starting a BookTube channel will be the hardest to overcome? I think for me is keeping up with the reading, because here's something. Okay, so if you're new as a reader, okay, you want to pick something small like a novella, and this is specific to the romance genre, and then you kind of work your way up. I make the mistake, okay, where I pick a book that's like 500-600 pages, and I did not prepare myself for that shit. But, you know, that's why I like audiobooks, because I can just turn it on and, you know, whether I'm reading along or not, but then it kind of helps me keep pace. So I think that's going to be one of the challenges, is trying to keep up with the reading. Because what I do, guys, here on the show is excuse me, I pick a couple books from different categories. So I have one book that I'm reading right now that is LGBTQIA plus romance. Then I have another one that's a web comic that's paranormal romance. Because we'll mainly be focusing on paranormal romance and multicultural. Those are like my two kind of main genres that I'm into. And ever so often I'll make like an exception here and there, but it's gonna be paranormal romance, because like that's like my all-time favorite. Like, I live for paranormal romance. Oh, nothing like falling in love with a vampire, you know? It's very sexy, very sexy. Good God. Okay. So then, okay, let me get back to the question. Okay, so one of the other challenges, I would have to say, honestly. Oh, hey, we got Rack. What's up? And Rack says, hey, what you doing? How you doing? What you doing? Welcome to the program. But I would have to say that would be one of the challenges, would be just keeping up with the reading. But the second challenge, I think, for me, is to feel misunderstood, because once again, like I said, there are not a lot of people of color that are booktubers. And oh, Rack says, what is this? Well, I welcome you. This is my first episode of my reading show. It's called Book Shade. So we focus on talking about literature, but specifically I talk about paranormal romance and paranormal romance webcomics and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm talking to myself. Oh man. So, you know, when you have a new show, that's just how it goes. You know, until you establish an audience, you're going to be talking to yourself. And I can talk to myself all day, to be honest. Okay? So, So yeah, I just think being misunderstood is gonna be the second challenge for me. Because I covered the romance genre, there's a lot of stigmas that are against it, and especially there are a lot of stigmas against the interracial and multicultural romance book genres. So I think that's gonna be a challenge, is I'm gonna probably get people being like, oh, that's stupid that you read that and all that kind of mess. But you know, being a critic of this genre, you know, I'm used to it, so this is what I do, and there's nothing wrong reading romance books. I'm a hopeless romantic, you know, but I just enjoy it. So I feel like as long as I enjoy it, you know, I won't feel that there's a challenge to doing my show. But I just feel like as a person of color, like there's not many of us, like I said before, that are booktubers and do this. So I think that'll be the challenge for me, is like how will people accept me as a person of color and talking about this genre that like not a lot of people of color talk about per se. So we'll see what happens with that. And Rack says, what do you mean by hopeless? Well, I mean, for me, I just feel as a person of color, like I deal with a lot of stereotypes about me like reading books and stuff like that, because I think people just don't expect someone like me to be interested. Oh, and I forgot, I also talk about historical romance as well, so we'll be doing that too. But because of the stuff that I like to read and things, like people just kind of misunderstand me all the time. So like, for example, like I like romance books where there's like an older man in it, and for some reason people get sensitive about this shit. So it's like, that's what I mean by sometimes I feel hopeless. Like sometimes I would just like for people to just accept me for me and the hobbies and the interests that I have. But for some reason when it comes to the romance genre, I don't know. Yeah, Rack, you know, I say the same thing, that, you know, who I am culturally, it shouldn't matter. But I don't know. I get treated different, you know. I do, and it really sucks. And, you know, I'm the type that I love everybody for being who they are, you know what I mean? And yeah, it just sucks. Yeah, it really sucks. So, well, Rack, I gotta be honest, man. It's very hard for me to take compliments because of the way that I've been treated and made fun of. So I really appreciate it, though. Thank you. All right, so let's move on. Next question here is, when did you start reading? Oh my gosh, centuries ago. Yeah, I've been reading for a long damn time. I mean, the first book I ever read, like I said before, was Anne Rice's Interview with the Vampire. And, oh, I love it, you know? It was just such a refreshing read. It was a completely different spin on, like, the classic kind of vampire story. And I think that's why people really like Anne Rice. Because, guys, if it was not for Anne Rice, honestly, the vampire kind of book culture would not be where it is today, you know, besides Bram Stoker and stuff like that. But oh my gosh, yeah. And Rack says everyone's seen that movie. Not everybody, you'd be surprised. And Rack says Interview with the Vampire and Queen of the Damned, everyone's seen the movie. Not everybody. Some, you know, some Anne Rice fans, they'll watch Interview with the Vampire, but then they'll avoid Queen of the Damned, because some of the fans feel like it's not as good as Interview with the Vampire. It had to grow on me, though, because my problem with the way that Queen of the Damned was produced, though, it was like they took two books in the Chronicles and put them together. So technically, the Queen of the Damned movie, this is just from my viewpoint, you're taking Queen of the Damned and the second book in the series, which is The Vampire Lestat, which is pretty much an autobiographical book on Lestat, right? So if you watch the beginning of Queen of the Damned, that's the opening part of The Vampire Lestat in the book. So like you're taking 2 book series and like putting them together. It's kind of, it was a lot to take in. But the movie grew on me. So and for me, anything that has like an interracial relationship, I'm gonna watch that and support that shit. So I loved Aaliyah with Stuart Townsend. They just worked really well together. Oh, it's like one of my favorites now. But the first time I watched it, I was like, that was not my thing. It wasn't my thing, but then it kind of grew on me. But that's just me though. So, oh, and well, Rack, thank you so much for the compliments. I really appreciate it. But let's move on here. All right. So, okay. So next question is, where do you read? Honestly, my favorite place to read, this is just me. I love when the weather is good. I like to read outside. I like to just get my blanket and just lay out there and just read and reflect. That's like my favorite thing to do, is just read and reflect. Oh my gosh, like just going outside, you feel the breeze on your body and you're reading something sexy. Nothing like it, okay? So that'll have to be my favorite place to read. And Rack, let me tell you, I appreciate the compliments, but I am really not attractive. I am really not. The only reason why I look good right now, to be honest with you, is because I have makeup on. But if I were to take this makeup off, it's pretty bad. It's horrendous. I mean, there's a reason why I wear makeup. And then, and yeah, I am not attractive. I do not have a good body or anything like that. So I just want to give you the heads up. So just to let you know, I appreciate the compliments, but and I'm just keeping it real because you guys will know that I keep it real. But I have had a lot of men break my heart and really just make me feel like shit. So I appreciate the compliments. I really do. And this is no disrespect, but I'm not interested in any type of relationship. Because I have had my heart broken and stomped on, and it's just hard for me to trust. It's just really hard for me to trust people. So I know it's something that I'm working on for sure. But yeah, I appreciate it though. Thank you, and not to be like that, but yeah, it's the last thing. Yeah, it is the last thing that's on my mind, because it's just not my not my thing right now. But all right, so besides all of that, okay, so last question here is what kind of books do you like to read? Okay, so I'm glad this is the last question here, so I will show you guys what type of books I'm into. All right, so the first category, like I said, my show Bookshade is LGBTQIA plus accepting. So everybody, who reads this book genre, you are welcome here. You are accepted here. And this book I haven't had a chance to read yet. This one is called Perfume. And it's interesting because not only it's interracial, but it is a lesbian vampire and interracial romance, lesbian vampire. Interesting. I thought that was interesting. I also like books like this. This is a and now I'll explain the acronym. So BWW, Vampire's Bride. So yeah, pretty unique in the sense that it's a black woman who falls in love with a shapeshifter. I've never read shapeshifter romances before, so I was like, oh, okay. So like this is the type of stuff that we'll be talking about here on the program as well. Also, I have another as you can see, I'm into the vampire romances. Yes, God. So this is Melissa James, and this is a vampire interracial romance. This is a series of books, like there's like 3 of them. So I haven't read this one yet, but this is the type of stuff we'll be talking about on the show. So I thought that was cool. And then the final one, yes. Oh my gosh. Okay. So I believe this one is a Viking romance, and Vikings are so hot to me personally. Oh my gosh. All right. So this is Hunting Season by Shelley. I cannot talk today. Shelley Lawrenston. So I was like, oh my god. Like, if it has a guy with hard body, I like gravitate to it right away. And I have this thing about, like, I love like cosplay and stuff like that. So when I pick a romance novel to read too, if there's any type of like cosplaying in it, oh my gosh, I just get into it right away. And Rack says is a Viking, and I was like, yeah, I love Vikings, man. Vikings are the shit. Like, I like a lot of like action movies and things like that. Yeah, I have a lot of unique type of content that I'll be doing here on the program. But yeah, these are just examples of potential kind of books that I'll be talking about here on the program. All right. Okay, so that's it, guys. That is my BookTube Newbie tag questions. I really appreciate you guys coming and checking out my debut episode and everything. And I'm also on twitch.tv/bookshade and all of that good stuff. So guys, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I do this show twice a week. It'll be on Fridays and Saturdays and all that good stuff. So, all right, guys, thanks so much for checking out the program. And like I always say, enjoy the darkness of reading. I'll talk to you guys very soon.